Sorry about that, guys. It did the realistic intro as well. What's going on, everybody, and welcome to Le Mans Ultimate, our weekly multi-class racing that is absolutely incredible from our very first race that we did. As you can see, an absolutely stacked grid again. We've got the hypercars, we've got the GT3 cars, and we are going to go racing here in Le Mans Ultimate. I don't know why I just pulled off there, but there we go. Right, here we go. We've got quite a few drivers on track, and Ryan Clemenson in that hypercar is one of the first out. Then you've got Dan Quinn just behind him in that Brazilian livery. As we know, it has become quite iconic now. So nice to see. So we will stay on board with Ryan Clemenson. As you can see, the mountains of Fuji in the distance. It's amazing, the graphics and the attention to detail around this amazing circuit. As we come around nets at turn 14 and 15, and then down towards Panasonic. We have raced here previously in Series 1. It was. So Ryan Clemenson will get us underway here in Fuji with that Porsche hypercar with that white livery, and it looks like it's got a little Canadian stamps on it somewhere as well. So down the finish straight towards the first chicane as we are on board with the hypercar of Ryan Clemenson. Remember, it is not private qualifying, so there is a lot of drivers on track here, a lot of GT3, a lot of hypercar, and the other drivers are going to have to be aware. And look at that, already the Mercedes well aware of that hypercar coming through. So Ryan Clemenson going down towards turn 3 at Coca-Cola as we ride on board with the Englishman. And through turn 3 and then around 100R at turn 4. Ryan Clemenson just easing off the throttle, doesn't want to give it too much oomph as he comes around there. He has changed from that Peugeot hypercar to the Porsche. And then through 300R at turn 9 as he just full throttles in towards Dunlop at turn 10. He wants to slam on that brake pedal into the right hander, into the left, just hugging the apex at turn 11. Through turn 12 you can see the mountains in the distance as we come in towards the 13th chicane, and then the elevations, it's sort of like a dip up towards the 14th at nets. But Dan Quinn right behind him as well, but he does have a couple of drivers. You've got Arthur Woods in that hypercar also chasing him down, so a lot of traffic here, but it is Ryan Clemenson out of Panasonic and down towards the checkered flag here in qualifying, and Ryan Clemenson will set the benchmark. And it is a 1:36.3 from Ryan Clemenson. So a really good lap there from him. So who is going to be next? That was Arthur Woods, a 1:36.4. That is very close. And then Lucas Rzinski in the other hypercar, a 1:37.1. Dan Quinn, a 1:43.8. And then you've got the number 4 car. I think that is... there's a lot of drivers on track, so I do apologise. I'm going to try and find them. I actually can't find the number 4 car, surprisingly. So Jamie Brass, we've got the number 12 as well. That is Robert Rockford and Kevin Estray. Kevin Estray might be his debut today, so he's just wiggling. He's not on a lap. Robert Rockford is. You've got Matthew Wells, who raced last week, and Raymond Hertog in the hypercar. Lucas in the other hypercar, that all blue with the AET. Amigos on the side of it, beautiful in that Porsche. Tommaso Biseggio, who raced last week, is not here. Edward Cook as well, just not able to get in, not sure why. A few issues with him. So Kevin Estray, Robert Rockford, Matto Gubro and Daniel Krupa, who had 2 amazing battles last week, are now on track. The Ferrari of Daniel Krupa going up to P5 in the GT3s. So Ryan Clemenson is still leading. Alexander Midson, the Norwegian, up to P2. Then Arthur Woods, Lucas Rzinski and Bart Janssen, another debutant in that hypercar. Dan Quinn is still leading the GT3s. Jamie Brass in the Mercedes has gone second. So that yellow Mercedes doing its job as Jamie Brass goes up to P2. What about Marek Odlos? He also drives a yellow car, but it is the Ferrari. And then Tim Schaap, who is very sharp in the same car as Jamie Brass. Yeah, that's annoying, that, Edward. I don't know why that is. I've got a feeling it might be something to do with race control, because you have to go onto your profile on SimGrid and you have to connect your race control account before you can link it up to Le Mans. So Marin Kitagawa, who did a splendid job last week, going up to P5 just behind Stefano Lavarone. Not for long as Tim Schaap comes through and goes up to P3. And then you've got Bart Janssen, and they're all starting to improve. Ryan Clemenson is now down to P4. He is not used to this, but there is a lot of traffic on that track that the hypercar drivers have got to be cautious and well aware of. Richard as well in the other hypercar just on a lap. You've got Matthew Wells in that Aston Martin. And then Lucas Didouge in that blue hypercar. So still some really good drivers, and look at the traffic behind them. And this is what happens when you get all mixed up. Look at this. You've got the GT3s, you've got the hypercars squeezing through, you've got all of them flashing as if to say it's my lap. Yeah, no problem, Edward, mate. And you can see, look how stacked the circuit is. It's like a game of Snake on a Nokia 3310. So, Robert Rockford in that Porsche, the pink one in the GT3s. You've got Marin Kitagawa in the M4. As we try and get on board with some of the leaders, it is going to be Marin Kitagawa, but I don't think he's on a fast lap. So, Daniel Krupa just coming through, he's slightly down. And then you've got Tim Schaap, who is improving as he comes out of Panasonic at turn 16, down towards the line we go. And Tim Schaap is going to improve, and he is going to get in front of Daniel Krupa, and potentially, no, he's not going to get in front of Mikhail Hodge, but he does go up to P3. Bart Janssen, Alexander Midson is now at the top of the list. He's set a purple sector 1, but he's slightly down on his lap time. I don't think that's a true reflection. Bart Janssen, and then Arthur Woods as well. And Arthur Woods to the line to start his lap. He goes up to P3. Raymond Hertog on his debut, having to navigate a lot of these GT3 cars, but that will make the drivers more aware, and it will throw a little bit of a spanner in the works for these drivers. And Raymond Hertog navigating them GT3s exceptionally well. Nicely done, as Raymond is 4.5 seconds up. We are now watching a great driver at work here. Raymond Hertog coming up through 300R and down towards Dunlop at turn 10. So come and join the Discord, Formula 7 Racing Multi-Class. That was a little bit of traffic for Raymond Hertog. And that was Marin Kitagawa that was just moving out of the way there. So 10.5 minutes remaining here in qualifying, and still all to play for. Raymond coming out of Panasonic at turn 16, and now it is full throttle. Down towards the line we go. What can Raymond do in the hypercar? 4.5 seconds up on his lap time to the checkered flag. Raymond stays where he is, and just behind Arthur Woods. Mikhail Hodge in the Ford Mustang, absolutely putting on a display. And I just want to say, whilst we've got a minute, let me point something out. So as you can see, Mikhail Hodge is wearing Overtake Leukemia. So I want to say, let's all work together to overtake leukemia. And the reason being is because one of the drivers that does race here, and one of the drivers that is friends with a few of these guys, is in the middle of battling leukemia. That's why he's not able to race tonight, and he won't be racing in the near future. But we wish him a speedy recovery, and when he is eventually well enough to get back on track, everybody will be absolutely delighted. So Overtake Leukemia, and an amazing tribute to one of their friends, one of our friends, and one of our great racers here at Le Mans Ultimate. We've not been doing this long, but for somebody to go through something so difficult and so hard, and a battle of their lifetime, we do wish him the absolute best, and we hope and pray and fingers crossed that everything goes well for him. So a beautiful tribute there for Overtake Leukemia. So Dan Quinn got that hypercar just in front of him as he navigates up the inside. Nicely done. It is Bart Janssen that has taken provisional pole with the hypercars. Ryan Clemenson is now in P2. Raymond Hertog is up to P3. Alexander Midson is trying to improve. Lucas Rzinski and Arthur Woods. Then you've got Richard and Lucas. Then you've got Matthew. But it is the GT3's Daniel Krupa up to P3. Kevin Estre and Tim Schaap. Can Kevin Estre improve? Tim Schaap is finding a little bit of improvement, but he runs wide. What about Kevin Estre as he comes into Panasonic? Out of turn 16, 8 minutes to go. He's not going to improve here, Kevin Estre. It is a great lap. He's going to get a tow all the way down to the line, but it's not going to be enough to put him into the green. There goes the hypercar, and into the pit lane goes Kevin Estre. Marin Kitagawa is still in the pit lane. What about Lorenzo Gigante? He is 2.6 up. So Lorenzo on his debut. I love the livery on that Mercedes. So let's see what Lorenzo can do. 2.6 up as he comes down in towards the hairpin at turn 6 and 7. Currently in P9. We've got quite a few drivers on track here. All in all, 24 drivers, including hypercars and GT3s. I know there's been a few drivers who weren't able to get in, some that have pulled out last minute. We know some of them raced last week and are not able to race this week, but still an amazing grid here in Fuji. Look how stacked the track map is. It's amazing to see. So Robert Rockford is 4/10 of a second up as he comes into 300R. And through Dunlop at turn 10. This is a really nice lap here from Robert Rockford. As you can see, Mount Fuji in the distance. Slightly up the hill, just drifting round there. Back onto the throttle for the Porsche driver. Into turn 11 and 12. Sorry, wrong part. 15 at nets. In towards turn 16 at Panasonic. A little bit of traffic in front of him, but he's nearly a second up. I tell you what, this is going to put him about P3 if my mathematics are correct. Here comes Robert Rockford out of Panasonic at turn 16 all the way down towards the line. Robert Rockford from P7 on the grid is going to move up to P3 surely as he gets to the checkered flag. Robert Rockford goes P6. What happened? The timing said he was a second up, but he says he's only improved by 2.5 tenths. Wow. So Lucas is up to P4 in the hypercar. He's 1/10 of a second behind Richard. And then Bart Janssen just getting a bit of a tow. Only 5.5 minutes to go here in qualifying to finish off and see who is going to take the pole position. 9 of the hypercars have set laps. And 14 of the GT3 cars have set laps. So Ivan Stefanov going to try and improve in that Porsche, and he is improving, and that's what we want. And you can see that hypercar just going up the inside of Ivan Stefanov. Oh, did somebody just leave then? Oh, I think somebody just joined. So Jamie Brass now down to P11. Ivan Stefanov is finding that improvement, but it's not enough, as a few of the drivers are coming through. So Nicholas Duncan is well inside the green here. And he's coming around turn 16 now. So the Lexus driver, he is currently P10 of the GT3s. And down towards the checkered flag, and Nicholas Duncan goes P5. What a lap from him. Well done, Nicholas. So Macau Hodge and Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn's pulled over. You've got Macau Hodge. And he is not on a lap, but Bart Janssen in that hypercar battling with Ryan Clemenson, who is in the pit lane, but he is currently on provisional pole. What about Richard Hertog? He's going to have to find a little bit more improvement if he wants to battle for the lead, but he's in a great position in P3. And who knows what can happen here. He is 4 tenths up, but then he loses it, but he'll gain it back on the exit. And a short run up to the line. And Richard Hertog will improve, but he stays P3. What about Lucas? In the other hypercar, 2.5 minutes to go. We don't know who is going to take the front rows of these two multi-classes. Alexander Midson is trying to improve. He's 4 tenths up as he goes down in towards Dunlop at turn 10. With that GR livery draped over him. It's a very Japanese-based livery for Alexander tonight, and he has backed out of his lap. And that is Matthew Wells to the line in that Aston Martin, and it means that Arthur Woods is at the back now. Macau Hodge is still in front. Dan Quinn has pulled over. Daniel Krupa is in the pit lane. Kevin Estre with them hypercars on his tail. Then you've got Nicholas Duncan in the pits, Tim Shapp in the pits, Robert Rockford is on a lap. He might get one more chance at this with 1.5 minutes to go. Lorenzo is 3 tenths down as he's coming up towards the checkered flag, so he can go again. Marin Kitagawa with them yellow flags, but he is 1/10 of a second up as he comes out of turn 7 and 8 and around 300R. Stefano Lavarone is 2 tenths up. That might improve his position from P10. Where's it going to put him? And he stays P10. Jamie Brass is also in the pit lane. Mato Gubro just coming around turn 14 and 15 at nets. Marek Odolos is not improving. Ivan Stefanov is down and the cars are coming through thick and fast. So Ryan Clemenson is still on provisional pole. Bart Janssen is not improving. Raymond Hertog is finding even more improvement. Richard behind him is 1/10 of a second up. You've got Lucas who's in the pit lane. Lucas Rajinski and Alexander Midson are not finding it. Matthew Wells is 7 tenths down. He is going to make it to the line for one last shot at this. Arthur Woods 6 tenths up as he comes in towards turn 10 at Dunlop. It is Macau Hodge still on provisional pole, and nobody is going to be challenging him as Dan Quinn and Daniel Krupa and Marin Kitagawa is going to be the only one to try and challenge him. Kevin Estre will have one more lap. Nicholas Duncan, and that is it. Checkered flag has been waved. So Robert Rockford, Lorenzo is 2 tenths up, and that is the hypercar going around the outside. Stefano is also finding the green. So Bart Janssen into the pit lane. Raymond Hertog coming around the final corner. You've got Richard, you've got Lucas Rosinski, Alexander Midson, you've got Matthew Wells and Arthur Woods. Arthur Woods stays in P9, Matthew Wells. Then you've got Raymond Hertog into the pit lane. Richard also peeling off into the pit lane. You've got the number 13 car of Ivan Stefanov. He pulls up and goes into the pits, and that might be it. Kevin Estray is not improving. And the number 7 car of Alexander Midson is also not improving as Lucas Rosinski pulls up. And it looks like Ryan Clemenson will take pole position. Ryan Clemenson takes pole position in the hypercars, and Macau Hodge takes pole position in the GT3s. And this will be one hell of a race. I cannot wait for this one. Especially around Fuji. So we are all calm. Calm before the storm. Yeah, Ollie, he's quick driver. He's 4 attempts in front of Dan Quinn. Lorenzo set a brilliant final lap and put himself up to P3. So well done to Lorenzo there. So the race will start in 90 seconds. Thomas Buter is not here this week either. Tommaso Bisaggio is not here this week. Well, Ryan Clemenson is. Yeah. I've actually, to be honest, although I've got the game and I've got a steering wheel and everything, I've actually not raced on LMU yet. Like, at all. I've not done a single race. All I've done is commentary. So I would like to try and play it at some point. So formation lap is on, and all the drivers will get ready to go racing here in Fuji. Yeah, hopefully not Ollie. So all of the drivers getting ready. You can see the GT3s just in the distance. Where it's Ryan Clemenson that will get us underway for the hypercars, but keep your eyes peeled on them GT3s in the distance. So we're heading up a slow creep. You can see Macau Hodge in the distance and Dan Quinn leading them GT3 pack. But it is Ryan Clemenson and Bart Janssen. And all of the drivers getting ready here in Formula 7 racing, here in multi-class for Le Mans Ultimate. Hypercars and GT3s. Who will reign supreme here in Fuji as we go green? Bart Janssen and Ryan Clemenson get an equally decent start as we head down in towards turn 1. But it is Bart Janssen that's just creeping, and now here comes Richard right through the middle of the both of them. Raymond Hertog up the inside, and Raymond Hertog is up to P2. Then we've got a battle, Bart Janssen and Matthew Wells. Dan Quinn is now your race leader in the GT3s. Macau Hodge is behind, and then you've got that little battle between Kevin Estre in the background with Daniel Krupa trying to make up positions, and the Ferrari driver just losing out. But it is Ryan Clemenson that now leads to Raymond Hertog in the hypercars. So the gaps, Bart Jansen now down to P5. Look at that Aston Martin of Richard blocking off Matthew Wells. Richard doing a great job here. And then the GT3, Stefano. And then you've got in the distance, that is Kevin Estre up the inside. Kevin Estre on Tim Schaap. Tim Schaap will have the inside line. They do bang together onto the grass. Goes Kevin Estre. He'll go later on the brakes, but Tim Schaap showing his experience. And the Mercedes, and that's the Ferrari in the background. That is Daniel Krupa that is into the wall. Daniel Krupa has lost it and binned it. There goes the Porsche of Robert Rockford as well, that pink Porsche, trying to make a move on Jamie Brass. An eventful start to this GT3 race, but look at this, Ryan Clements is still leading. Raymond Hertog, and there goes Lucas up the inside of the Aston Martin, and Matthew Wells, and they collide. Matthew Wells and Bart Jansen have collided. Arthur Woods squeezing through. And it is drama. Lucas Radzinski watching all of this unfold, and Bart Jansen is well down. He's on the grass and potentially out of this race. That is not good for the hypercar driver. But it is Dan Quinn in the GT3s that is reigning supreme at the minute. 2.5 minutes played. And here comes Kevin Estre on the back of Tim Schaap again. He's going to try again. Robert Rockford on at Jamie Brass. It is all going on here. And Bart Jansen is going to get his foot down. Matto Gubro, not sure what happened with him. But he's way behind the pack. Maybe had to pit. Hey, Ben, thank you so much, mate. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I don't know why it didn't show up on the display, though. So, Raymond Hertog in the hypercar. Oh, there we go. You did show up. So Ryan Clemenson is leading the hypercars, and then you've got Dan Quinn that is leading the GT3s. Luna Nova, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate that. So here comes Macau Hodge once again. You can see a couple of the drivers just in the distance at the back, and that is Ivan Stefanov and Daniel Krupa. Remember, Daniel did spin it in that Ferrari, and the Porsche driver trying to make a move as he moves to the inside as we head up towards turn 1, but the Ferrari has just got the straight line speed, and Daniel Krupa able to fend off any attacks from the Porsche as we go down in towards turn 1. So great defending there. Matto Gubro got a lot of catching up to do, as we stated before. Robert Rockford. Bart Jansen has made a move. He's got to navigate through all of these GT3 cars again. And look how close Macau Hodge is getting to Dan Quinn. And Alexander Midson on Arthur Woods as he just flashes him and says, I'm here, I'm coming to race. Thank you, Luna. So here comes Alexander Midson as we come out of Panasonic at turn 16, and down the straight we go. And he is ever so closer. He is half a second behind. And what about Lucas Radzinski on the back of Matthew Wells? We flick back to the GT3s. It's Kevin Estre. And that is Dan Quinn and Macau Hodge. This is for the lead. And Macau Hodge goes wide, but he's going to get a better exit on Dan Quinn. He's going to attack again. It's the Mustang versus the M4. As we have a sprint race down towards turn 1. As he slipstreams him all the way down the pit straight. Moves over to the left-hand side. This is beautiful work from Macau Hodge. But can he execute the finish? It is Dan Quinn that has the inside line, and Macau Hodge is going to have to do something spectacular here. Later on the brakes, Dan Quinn very clever as he just nudges him out, and the BMW stays in front. Great driving from the pair of them. What about Richard on Raymond Hertog? Remember, this is for P2. Raymond having a good race. 1.3 behind Ryan Clemenson. Richard and Lucas. Here comes Alexander Midson again on Arthur Woods. Matthew Wells only a second behind Lucas Rajinski, and they have Bart Janssen starting to catch up. He's just gone past Tim Sharp as he navigates all them GT3 cars. Here comes Dan Quinn, and that is Macau Hodge again, wheel to wheel, side by side they go. Dan Quinn squeezes. Macau Hodge is not giving in though. Around turn 12 and 13, and Dan Quinn is back in front, but look at Lorenzo. Lorenzo wants a piece of the action. The Mercedes driver is here on his debut over the apex at nets at turn 15, down towards Panasonic at turn 16. Macau Hodge will get that slipstream all the way down to the first chicane once again. As he moves to the back of that BMW, Lorenzo is here as well. Bart Janssen in the hypercar might even cause some trouble. He's got them all in front of him. Macau Hodge on Dan Quinn, doing the exact same as he did on the last lap. The hypercar is through, and Macau Hodge moves to the left-hand side. But has he got the straight line speed to make the move count? Down in towards turn 1. It is Dan Quinn that goes later on the brakes. Macau Hodge tries to switch it back, but he's just not able to. He does get the better exit though. Here comes Macau Hodge again. Dan Quinn can only defend a number of times before it's the inevitable happens. Here comes Lucas as well. Dan Quinn defending once more as we come around 100R at turn 4 and 5. And Dan has destroyed the drivers behind again and defended so well. Macau Hodge trying the old switchback. What a tremendous race we have here. 8 minutes gone. And Macau Hodge is going to try and go later on the brakes. This is a fascinating battle as he gives him a little nudge. And look at Lorenzo as well. And look who's caught up. Marin Kitagawa. The BMW is full of pressure now. Macau. Lorenzo at the inside. Lorenzo is up to P2. What a move from the Mercedes. But back through comes Macau Hodge. And now Marin Kitagawa goes up the inside. And the BMW and Mercedes are now squabbling for the podium positions. Marin Kitagawa and Lorenzo fighting for P3. Just after moving into P2, he might be down to P4. This is how incredible this race is. Marin Kitagawa does have the inside line, but Lorenzo going later on the brakes. Macau Hodge is round. Macau Hodge has spun it again. Pulls out in front of Tim Sharp. And Macau, that could have been a lot worse than what it was as they go 3 wide. As Stefano goes through. And that is a bit argy-bargy behind. That is Nicholas Duncan in the Lexus and Kevin Estrade. Macau Hodge is down to P8. Absolute scenes here in Fuji. And back up the inside goes Kevin Estrade on Nicholas Duncan. BMW versus Lexus. I've got a feeling Nicholas Duncan's going to do the same, and up the inside, as so does Macau Hodge. This is a great race. What about Lucas Rajinski? He goes around the outside, and they're having to squeeze for a GT3 car. As they go racing, Lucas Rajinski is through on Arthur Woods. So fascinating, this race. We were so concentrated on the GT3s. Look how close they are. That we nearly missed an overtake from the hypercars. Luckily, we're on the ball. Macau Hotch into the slipstream of Kevin Estre in front. He moves over to take the narrower line into turn 1. You can see the drivers behind. And Macau Hotch on Kevin Estre does get the move done. And now Nicholas Duncan is in front. And look at the two. That is Tim Sharp just battling away with Stefano Lavarone. And Tim Sharp is back in front. So Raymond Hertog is not too far behind Ryan Clemenson here, you know. And then you've got Richard in that shell-inspired livery for that hypercar. Macau Hotch again. They're going to go 3-1. Look at the hypercars. And Macau Hotch going late on the brakes. And this is turning into a bit of carnage. The hypercar trying to go around the outside. Oh, the Lexus, the Mercedes. A huge crash. A huge crash. The Mercedes is round again. And Robert Rockford trying to get the move done as well. And it was going to end in disaster with how close they were racing. And the Ferrari, again, he's already lost it once there today. What scenes, what scenes. 13 minutes down. Marin Kitagawa with them blue flags. So they're going to be damaged, some of them drivers. Here comes Arthur Woods. Oh! No, the Mercedes! And the hypercar of Lucas. Wow. And hopefully Lucas doesn't have too much damage. Was that Jamie Brass? I don't know if it was him or Tim Sharp. I think it was Tim Sharp. It was Tim Sharp. And he's got Ivan Stefanov now on his tail. But a lot of drama here tonight. I can see the stewards room being very busy. I think we definitely need some live stewards in this race. So Matthew Wells now up to P6 in the hypercars in that Aston Martin, doing a cracking job of working his way through the field. So Matthew Wells in that Aston Martin. And then you've got Macau Hotch on Kevin Estre. I know there would have been a few penalties if we had live stewards with some of them collisions. Unfortunately, we don't. But I do need to get some live stewards in. And look at this, Macau Hotch chasing down Kevin Estre, and then in the hypercar goes Matthew Wells. Nicely done from Matthew. Macau Hotch is up the inside. Kevin Estre will try and hold the line, but Macau is through. And the driver that started on pole position is back up to P5. Richard escaped all of that damage narrowly. A lot of drivers on track in this small circuit. It does call into question a lot of the driving standards. And up the inside there goes Arthur Woods on Macau Hotch, and then on Marin Kitagawa as well, the Porsche hypercar. What about Nicholas Duncan on Jamie Brass, who is up to P9. So Matthew Wells just navigating through all of this traffic, doing a great job. And here comes Macau Hotch on Stefano Lavarone. He's going to get the better exit, moves out to the right hand side, and the Mustang driver is going to get another overtake notched on his bedpost. And up to P4, the recovery drive is on for Macau, but the straight line speed of Stefano is keeping him at bay for the moment. But how long can he hold on as we go down in towards turn 1? The BMW and the Mustang going toe to toe, but it is Macau Hotch that will come out on top. The hypercars quite nicely spread out at the moment. Raymond Hertog still in P2, doing a great job of just holding that car. You've got to keep them concentration levels when you're racing in these hypercars. It's so easy to lose the back end, as Bart Johnson, I think, has made a mistake. He's been overtaken by Dan Quinn in the GT3 car. So Bart Johnson will go back through. Dan Quinn, the leader of the GT3s, does not want to go racing with a hypercar, that's for sure. And, oh, he's got off the track again, Bart Johnson. So, Dan Quinn. So wheel to wheel go Stefano and Kevin, and it is Kevin that comes out just in front of Stefano and up to P5. And what about Nicholas Duncan on Marek Odlos in that Ferrari? The hypercar's still nicely spread out at the moment. I'm looking at the board. Oh, nearly went into the back of him there. And you can see the gaps between the drivers. Marin Kitagawa on the back of Lorenzo. So, we have seen some great battles, you know. We have seen some really good battles in the opening 20 minutes. Marek Odlos battling with Nicholas Duncan. You've got Daniel Krupa on the back of Jamie Brass. Daniel Krupa going late on the brakes there. So Bart Johnson in P9 of the hypercars, Lucas Rudzinski in P8, Arthur in P7, Matthew Wells in P6, Alexander in P5, You've got Lucas in P4, Richard in P3, Raymond in P2, and Ryan in P1. And Ryan once again coming up to that traffic. Up the inside of both of them. Wow. Was not messing around then, was it? What about Marin Kitagawa on Lorenzo, who has done a splendid job to get into P2? So, Lorenzo into P2, Marin Kitagawa in P3. He's still got Daniel Krupa, but he's got that hypercar underneath him. And he's run wide again in that Ferrari. Maybe struggling after that damage. Yeah, look at it. Remember, he hit the wall. So he's definitely got damage here. And he is struggling. You've got Ivan Stefanov and Tim Schaap. And Marin Kitagawa still getting closer to Lorenzo for this fight for P2. Remember, Macau Hotch, who started on pole position, is not too far behind now. 1.4 is the gap. He can see the front two. Look at them. Wow. So Macau has done a great job to catch up to these. So 6 tenths is the gap, but look at Macau Hotch. The gap is only 3 tenths now. And it's only a matter of time as it goes down towards turn 1 into the slipstream of Marin Kitagawa. Here comes Macau Hotch, the pole sitter, to make this recovery drive, and they are catching to Lorenzo in front. Here they both come. Macau is going to go up the inside later on the brakes. And Marin leaves him the space. And Macau Hotch is through and back up to P3. Lorenzo now setting his sights. And back up the inside goes Macau. He needs to be careful. He's been very involved in the collisions here this evening. Has Macau Hotch. And then up the inside of Lorenzo, goes lunging up there, and it's a beautiful move. Macau 2 from 2 and back to P2. Can Lorenzo respond? As we head in towards Dunlop at turn 10, he goes later on the brakes. I don't think he meant to do that. And then he switches it back up the inside, does Macau Hotch. Around turn 11 and 12. Lorenzo just edging in front, and now here comes the hypercar of Ryan Clemenson, the race leader in the hypercar. He's got to navigate through the traffic. Marin is round. No, he's not. He's saved it. Marin has saved it, but Kevin Estre is going to try and make a move, and here he comes. Kevin Estre on Marin Kitagawa. And it's becoming very uncomfortable for these GT3s. Up the inside goes Kevin Estre. What an overtake that is. What are we witnessing here? What are we witnessing? So Raymond Hertog only 2.1 behind Ryan Clemenson. Richard is still in the podiums in P3, but he does have Lucas in the distance behind him. And then Alexander, you've got Matthew Wells in P6 and then Aston Martin. I love the Aston Martin hypercar. I think it's probably one of the best looking ones. Marin Kitagawa on Kevin Estre. That is the hypercars just getting through. What about Jamie Brass as well? Yeah, up to P2. Thank you so much for the follow, Weezer Racing, and Gubro as well. Thank you. A real fascinating drive, to be honest. Lorenzo is still in P3. The hypercar just going through. What about Robert Rockford or Nicholas Duncan? Yeah, you're right, it was. Oh, look at this. Raymond Hertog only 1.6 behind Ryan Clemenson. So we can have a look at the grid progress of the drivers. And here comes Lucas on Arthur Woods. He's managed to catch back up. Yeah, I think so. Tips it. Or types it. And around the outside goes Lucas on Arthur Woods. And then they've got the GT3 to deal with. And Arthur Woods goes up the inside. Leaves it wide open for Lucas. Lucas Rzyński is going to go later on the brakes as they go down in towards Dunlop at turn 10. Another GT3 in the way. And Lucas Rzyński diving up the inside. Arthur Woods goes wide, touches the grass. Lucas Rzyński is through. The two hypercars trade places. And up to P7 goes Lucas. That is how it's done. Raymond Hertog only 1.2 behind Ryan Clemenson. It is getting closer and closer. Raymond has turned up. The GT3 is quite spread out now as well. He's not giving up. You're absolutely right. And Ryan Clemenson will see him in his rear view mirror. So 1.9 is the gap. So we are halfway through this race. And we've still got a lot of drivers in. What have we had? I don't think we've had... Oh, Matt O'Gubro. We've had one DNF. But Matt O'Gubro couldn't continue in that Ferrari. The damage was just too bad. Jamie Brass catching up to Marek Odlos. And then you've got Kevin Estray with Lorenzo in the distance. That is now for P3, remember. Ryan Clemenson starting to turn up the heat. 2.3 now is the gap, but look at Lucas. He's chasing down Richard for the podium. And I don't think we've seen the last of these battles yet. Oh, and look at this. Kevin Estre on Lorenzo. Up the inside goes Matthew Wells. And he's catching up to somebody here as well, Matthew Wells. I think it's a back marker. It is. But Matthew Wells is through on both the GT3s. So Kevin Estre did lose a little bit of time to Lorenzo as Matthew Wells was going through. And I think that might be Bart Jansen. It is Bart. He's not had the race to remember here, Bart. Ah, the back marker overtook Matthew. We know Bart Jansen qualified really well. He's got the pace, but he's just not had the race to remember here in Fuji. But remember, points go down to P15, so you never know. These points could be a massive difference. And then around the outside, that is Dan Quinn. That is still your race leader by 1.7 seconds. So Dan Quinn still in a very comfortable position. Macau Hodge is catching. Oh no! Dan Quinn and Matthew Wells have collided. Macau Hodge is now your race leader. Dan Quinn and Matthew Wells. The hypercar is round, and the race leader of the GT3s is down to P2. Oh, Dan Quinn has collided with Macau Hodge, and that might be a penalty for Dan Quinn as well. Macau Hodge and Lorenzo could end up picking up the pieces here, but he is having to just overtake the back marker of Jamie Browse, who moves out of the way. Matthew Wells trying to recover. Wow, what has happened here? And this is Kevin Estre now on Lorenzo. This is for a podium position. And Richard is on the back of Lucas. Wow, that was a lunge and a half. And Richard is up to P3, and I think he's waiting. He's waiting for Lucas to let him back through. That is a real sportsmanship. I think Richard just went too late on the brakes and clattered into him, and I respect that a lot. Richard has said, I'm really sorry. Lucas, take your position back. I do apologise. It was just a misjudgment of the brake pedal. So very respectful there from both of them. Lorenzo and Kevin Estre. Kevin Estre has taken P3 away from Lorenzo. Momentarily, Dan Quinn is back in the lead, and Macau Hodge is 3 seconds behind Dan Quinn. We thought the drama was over. We thought we'd seen all the racing, but we were only just getting going. Wow. So Kevin Estre and Lorenzo going at it again. Who will reign supreme? And remember, this is for a podium place. This is massive in the grand scheme of things. Lorenzo does hold on. Marin Kitagawa is being gifted another opportunity to catch up. So here comes Kevin Estre again. He's got that straight line speed. We know he has. Into the slipstream of that Mercedes goes the BMW. And then he's going to move to the inside as we head down in towards turn 1. We'll go track side. And we'll see what we can see. And down the inside he goes. And Kevin Estre is up to P3. Can Lorenzo respond? He can! Lorenzo is back through! I tell you what, Lorenzo is just defiant. These drivers are probably sick of him. He's just constant. It's great to see. He just does not give up. Ryan Clemenson has been overtaken by Raymond Hertog for the lead of the Grand Prix here in the hypercars. We did not see that coming. 24 minutes remaining and Raymond Hertog is your race leader in the hypercars. Macau Hodge has caught back up to Dan Quinn. But we will stay. Oh, here he comes again. Macau Hodge on Dan Quinn, but we've got Ryan Clemenson up the inside as well. And these two hypercars navigating through a lot of traffic. On the inside goes Ryan Clemenson. And he smashes into the side. He's spun. He smashes into the side of Raymond Hertog and then gets spun around by the GT3 car. Ryan Clemenson, your race leader for over half an hour, has lost it as Raymond dashes off in the distance. What about Macau Hodge on Dan Quinn? Is he going to try and go for the overtake? Every time Macau Hodge goes late on the brakes and tries up the inside. Fuji is not disappointing. So we're still on board with Dan Quinn and Macau Hodge up the inside. They both leave each other the space. This is great racing from the pair of them. As I said before, that overtake leukemia livery for one of our Le Mans Ultimate drivers who is battling leukemia at the moment. We wish him all the best. A big shout out to him, and we hope that he continues to battle this horrible disease, and we hope for a speedy recovery for him to get back on track soon, but overtake leukemia. I love that. He's definitely had some airtime for that livery today anyway, that's for sure. What about Kevin Estre on Lorenzo? And we know that Kevin's carrying a lot of straight line speed. Lorenzo is going to have to think about this defending again. And Kevin is a bit reluctant this time. What about them in the distance? There's a couple of drivers just in the distance. That's Marin Kitagawa being overtaken by a backmarker. Oh, Marin's onto the grass. Oh, he's nearly lost it. You can see Stefano Lavarone in the distance catching up to him. And Stefano is going to pick up the pieces here. And that is Dan Quinn and Macau Hodge going for round 10, 11 and 12 at this point. No! The two leaders are round and Macau Hodge has spun Dan Quinn. And that is probably the third time that Macau Hodge has been involved directly with a collision. And I'm sure the stewards have got to get involved at some point here. Really unfortunate for Macau Hodge as Lorenzo goes up the inside of Dan Quinn. Oh! Maybe a little bit too hasty from Lorenzo. And that has cost him that podium. That's a real shame from Lorenzo, who was having a good race. Been a lot of drama this race, hasn't there? Yeah, Kylan. Been a good race. I don't think there was 14. I think it shows 14, but I think there was 10. So Macau Hotch is your race leader, but I'm pretty sure he's got a 5-second time penalty. Oh, I'll have to take 5 off him. I think I've just done it twice by accident. So, Kevin F straight. Ryan Clemenson now only 2.4 behind Raymond Hertog. He is starting to catch up. And look at Richard on the back of Alexander. 4 attempts is the gap. Yeah, Ryan is gaining a lot. He's having to turn up the heat here. Oh no! Again, Alexander Midson has collided with Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn must be the unluckiest driver in this race. Kevin Estre has moved up to P2. Wow. Yes, Andrea, I will have a look. Wow, there's been a lot of drama in this race. Ryan Clemenson 1.7 behind Raymond Hertog. So Stefano Lavaroni. It's been filled, action-packed. Arthur Woods is out of this race as well in the hypercar. I'm not sure what happened to Arthur. He was doing okay, but Ryan Clemenson now only a second behind Raymond Hertog. Here we go, half a second is the gap. So can Ryan Clemenson make light work for the lead with 14.5 minutes to go. Ryan Clemenson, who started on pole position, chases down Raymond Hertog, who started in P3 for the lead of this Grand Prix here in the hypercars. Ryan into the slipstream. Who will come out on top? Will he be the last of the late breakers? We do have a GT3 car just in the way. Up the inside goes Raymond Hertog. Now here comes Ryan Clemenson. We have a battle for the lead with 14 minutes to go. This is what we wanted to see. And that is Stefano, I think, that's off the track there. Here comes Ryan, wheel to wheel. Goes around the outside. Raymond Hertog leaves him there. And it's the two Porsches. And it will be Ryan that shifts to the inside. But he just thinks better of it. And he goes a little bit deep there, does Raymond. That is the GT3 taking the shortcut route. The BMW. And I think that might have been Marin Kitagawa. And Ryan Clemenson around the outside of Raymond. There is nothing to separate them as they go down in towards turn 15 and 16 at Panasonic. Out of the final corner, it is Ryan Clemenson that's in front. Raymond Hertog will track him down. He will follow him all the way down in towards turn 1, using that slipstream, using that toe. Ryan Clemenson squeezing past that BMW. But here comes Raymond. He will have the inside of turn 1. Will he be able to get back into the lead of this Grand Prix? He does. Later on the brakes, Ryan Clemenson with the old switchback that will take back the lead, surely. As Raymond tries to leave him on the outside. Later on the brakes, Raymond is back through. Lucas moves out the way. He wants no part of this. As Ryan Clemenson back down to P2 momentarily. So past Dan Quinn they go, who has been sideswiped a few times this race. This is exceptional. Raymond still leading, 12 minutes to go. Ryan chasing. Who is going to come out victorious? So Raymond holding on. Ryan Clemenson will track him all the way through in towards turn 16 again. It is deja vu. But Ryan will be the car behind this time. And Raymond will have to do the defending. Half a second is the gap. Is this the moment we've been waiting for? Matthew Wells is chasing down. Matthew Wells is through. That is Alexander Midton that has potentially got damage. He has got damage, so he is peeling off into the pit lane. Ryan Clemenson is not able to get through on Raymond Hertog, so Matthew Wells is back up to P6. Robert Rockford as well in the Porsche. Here comes Ryan once again up the inside. Raymond lets him go to try and switch back up the inside, but he's not able to do it. And Ryan Clemenson is back into the lead finally. But Raymond is not going to let him get away. He is going to try and stick with him in the remaining 10 minutes in what's been an awesome race from start to finish. This has been a really enjoyable race. So Ryan Clemenson 8 attempts clear now. All the other drivers quite spread out, but that is normal with 9 minutes to go. We've had so much action. He does, Kylan, he does have the gap now. But I tell you what, do not count Raymond out just yet. He's still staying with him, 6 attempts. Who knows, with that slipstream, with that little bit of pace behind, who knows what can happen. Daniel Krupa. I thought Daniel Krupa was out. Sorry, it was Mato Gubro, yeah. Daniel Krupa's still going, as he always does, in that Ferrari. Being chased by Ryan Clemenson and Raymond Hertog here. As Raymond tried to go out wide. That might have lost him some time. It has lost him some time. As he just moves out of the way, but it's 1.1 is the gap now. He's lost the toe. He's lost the toe on Ryan. So yeah, 1.3 now, as it has started to open up. Let's just go through the grid as we've got a little bit of downtime. It is Ryan Clemenson that leads. It is Raymond Hertog in P2. Lucas Duduch in P3. And Richard Chichak in P4. Lucas Rajinski in P5. And then Matthew Wells in P6. Bart Johnson in P7 and Alexander Midson in P8. Then onto the GT3s, it is Macau Hodge in P1. He does have a time penalty, but I don't think it's going to affect him. Kevin Estray in P2. What a drive he's done here. And then Dan Quinn in P3, who I also think the stewards have given a time penalty to for a collision with a hypercar at some point, apparently. And then Lorenzo. Oh no, it was a collision with Lorenzo. It says a collision, yeah. Okie dokie. So Lorenzo down in P4, potentially can get back into P3. Stefano in P5, and then Nicholas Duncan in P6. Marin Kitagawa in P7, and then Robert Rockford in P8. Marek Odlas in P9, and Jamie Brass in P10 in that Mercedes. Tim Schaap in P11, also in that yellow Mercedes, and Daniel Krupa in P13. Ivan Stefanov in P12, and Daniel Krupa in P13. Yeah, the gap has started to open up now. Raymond Hertog 2.2 behind. But it was a good race. It's been a good race. It really has. I mean, the gaps have now opened up, so there's not really anything to commentate on. But we've had 55 minutes of holy moly moments, you know? Like, the race was just brilliant. And we still have... And that's with 24 drivers on track, not 38. Imagine there's 38. Jesus, we won't know where to look. I appreciate you all sticking with me, and I hope you're all enjoying the race. I hope you're all enjoying the live stream, and I hope the drivers are enjoying it as well. So thank you for staying with me for this 1 hour of Le Mans multi-class race. Yeah, that Mustang is, my God. Wait, what's happened? Oh, Macau Hodge hadn't pitted. 4 minutes to go. Dan Quinn's now the leader. Lorenzo is into P2. Macau Hodge is down to P3. Kevin Estre didn't pit either. Oh, so they've run out of fuel. No. Stefano's also had to go into the pit lane. What has happened? Dan Quinn is now your race leader again with 3 minutes to go. Lucas Rosinski is catching up to Richard. Yeah, Dan needs to push like crazy. He needs a 5-second gap to win. So, Macau Hodge is not going to win even though he opened up a massive gap. Nicholas Duncan catching up to Marin Kitagawa. And Raymond Hertog is only 1.1 behind Ryan Clemenson. Did we think that it was all over? Did we call it too soon? Oh, that's a drive around. Did we call it too soon here in Fuji? Look at this. 6 tenths is the gap with 2 minutes to go. Cutting it very close. Tell you what, Raymond Hertog is still on for the race victory here. So in towards turn 1. Either that Kylan or he made a mistake somewhere. Macau Hodge has overtaken to Dan Quinn into the pit lane as well. So Dan Quinn is back down to P4. He does have a big gap to Marin though. Macau Hodge. And I tell you what, Lorenzo is on for the race victory with 1:20 to go. Raymond is losing a little bit more time to Ryan. And that is Richard in the hypercar. There's a couple of drivers low on fuel. They are cutting it really close, all of them, aren't they? They're cutting it really close with fuel. I think I think some of them have misjudged it, you know. So Nicholas catching up to Marin. And then you've got Raymond, who has lost a little bit of time now to Ryan. But it's been an exceptional race with 20 seconds to go. And I think this is the last lap. Let me just have a look. Where is Lorenzo? Lorenzo's into the pit lane. Macau Hodge is back into the lead. And Kevin Estre will move into P2. We are on to the final lap of this race. So we are on to the final lap. Lorenzo in the pit lane. Dan Quinn is now up to P3. So Ryan Clemenson coming down in towards turn 13 and 14 in towards turn 15 at nets. And down in towards Panasonic at turn 16. It's been one hell of a drive again from Ryan Clemenson. Mr. Consistent. The domination continues. Ryan Clemenson coming down the pit straight. And Ryan Clemenson will win here in Fuji. Ryan in the hypercar. Raymond Hertog takes P2. And Lucas is going to take P3. Macau Hotch from start to finish had a great drive. I do think he has a time penalty though. I don't know if it's 5 or 10. Macau Hotch out of turn 16 at Panasonic, coming down towards the line. Macau Hotch in the Ford Mustang is going to come through, and Macau Hotch overtakes Leukemia and overtakes the line to win here in Fuji. Kevin Estre is going to come and take P2. Dan Quinn will take the podium in P3. What a race. Wow. What a race. What a race. Whew. That was great. That was a really, really, really good race. A really enjoyable one. So, Dan Quinn already reposting videos. That was quick, Dan. Yes, what a race, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in and watching and staying with me. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I have. Thank you, Ollie. I really appreciate it, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the race. Remember, we are going to be here every single Monday for our multi-class racing. So if you want to get involved, just join SimGrid or come and join the Discord. And if you've not got a PC and you've not got Le Mans, don't worry, we got you covered. Assetto Corsa every fortnight on a Friday, 7 PM. Come down and join as well. And then if you just want to do Formula 1, Fortes every Sunday and Realistic every Wednesday. So thank you so much for tuning in and watching, guys. It's been an absolute blast. It's been a pleasure. Well done to all of the drivers. And thank you to you guys for sticking with me. We will be back next Monday at 7 PM. So be here again. Let's hope we get as good as a race as we have tonight as well. Got taken out by Brass. Mate, we'll have a look at all that, mate. Just submit it on SimGrid and we'll take a look. But yes, have a great week, everybody. And I will see you on the next one. Take care.